Channel 10.
We used to be like CNN Channel 10, and we used to think that people would catch on. But if you're not from Queens, if you don't got Time Warner or whatever, like, well, I didn't know that.
Do it, yo. Yo, word up, man. It's a different channel, son. Word up, on, man. Word up, watch the channel, son. Different plane now, man.
It's all good.
Word up, all good, baby, in every hood, son. Word up, yo. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, it's grown men. Whoa, face, get in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef than Scarface. CNN, Network, Channel 10. It's on again. Street niggas, that's grown men. Bold face, get in your face. Stay in place, yo, crime lace. Cast more beef than Scarface.
Yo.
We're back once again. It's the Channel 10 podcast. It is I, Artic, the almighty AR in the building, and I'm alongside
Singer Superior.
And before we get into it, you know, we want you to definitely rate, subscribe, comment, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music now. Wherever you're listening to us, you know, definitely show us some love. We really appreciate it. Email us at channel10podcast@gmail.com. Support us on Patreon. Even though we haven't dropped an episode in a while, go ahead and go to patreon.com/channel10podcast and support $1 an episode or more if you can afford it, because we got some things coming to you. And if you don't believe us, look at what we've brought to you. Egyptian Lover, DJ Booman, Schoolie D, DeRay McKesson, the list goes on and on and on, like Erykah Badu said. And subscribe on Audible. Well, not subscribe, but sign up at audible.com, audibletrial.com/channel10 to get a free audio book and free 30-day free trial for Audible. And to be honest, it has definitely enriched my life right now. Matter of fact, I was driving earlier listening to Sam Harris, Waking Up, through Audible. I've previously listened to Ta-Nehisi Coates' book. I listened to Michelle Alexander, Cornel West, you know, whatever topic you're interested in. Sapiens, great book, which I meant to tell you, Singard, like, you know, when you get a chance, I think this book is gonna, you know, definitely add to some shit that you have to say. But yeah, audibletrial.com/channel10. Like, definitely do that. Right now I just purchased a book because not only do you get a free credit every month, but you get a discounted audio book. So today, actually, I just purchased this book, How to Spot a Liar, because I deal with liars every day. And like, sometimes I wonder, am I like too paranoid and thinking this person's lying to me? And or am I being a sucker? So it's like, I need to listen to this book and figure out who's lying to me and who's not. So yeah, audible.com, spot you some liars in the building. And that's our advertisements for right now. Channel10podcast.com, order some merchandise. Click on the store link. We popping out here. Shit!
You know, I feel like the advertisements are becoming longer and longer as we go on.
I mean, man, we gotta get this money.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like, there's people out here getting this money. Man, we gotta get this money. Like, there's no reason why we can deliver all this content for over a year and we ain't getting this money right now. So y'all gotta like, help a brother out.
Yeah.
So since we last spoke, there's so many things that have happened. There's the Drake album, there's the Beyonce album, there's Birdman on the Breakfast Club, there's Prince, there's China, there's John Jones, there's African Bambaataa, there's I don't know, the list.
MC Shan and KRS-One.
MC Shan and KRS-One, like it's the 80s or some shit. It's just a lot. it's just a lot going on. There's the anniversary of Freddie Gray. Just got word because usually when we record something crazy happens. So Bobby Shmurda, I just heard he got out. I wish we had a phone line so somebody could call in and confirm this, but they don't. So I'm about to click the search on Twitter for Bobby Shmurda, the one-hit wonder. Maybe he had 2 hits. And I've been meaning to listen to what's his name, Rowdy Rebel's mixtape for a long time, because he comes from Bayesian ancestry, such as myself. Bobby Shmurda, he's Jamaican, so it's a Caribbean thing going on in the building.
That's what's up.
So shout out to all my Bayesians and all my Jamaicans and all my Trinis and all my Virgin Islanders, whether you be British Virgin Island or American Virgin Island. I got peoples out there. What up, what up, what up? And everybody from the diaspora getting it in. But I don't know, I'm just wilding right now. Pardon my wild.
Yeah, man. So man, fucking Prince, man, like I mean, I've just been like really just out of it. Before we got on, Arctic just told me that Beyonce came out with an album. I just found out that Drake dropped his album early yesterday morning. I found out Prince passed away and China passed away at the same time, like early in the evening that day when everything happened. So I mean, I'm just not connected to the world, man. I found out about the Baltimore primary, Catherine Pugh and Donald Trump winning yesterday.
And Hot Sauce Hillary in the building.
She came again?
No, she won. She won the Democratic primary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of figured that. I mean, all those white people in Baltimore now, they want Hillary, especially since she'll bring prosperity, gentrification, and all these other amazing things to the city.
What's crazy is I saw an article. I forget where it was, but basically they're saying that Baltimore is going to be the new Brooklyn.
Was that on Baltimore Fishbowl?
It might have been, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And what's interesting too is I saw something previously because Crystal City was trending on Twitter, and people said Crystal City's the new Brooklyn, I guess, for the DC area. And what's crazy is, like, I've been to Pentagon City, I've been all through Arlington. That's like let me think. Baltimore, DC, New York. I guess Arlington is like my 4th or 5th home. And I've never been to Crystal City. But since they say it's a new Brooklyn, I might have to make that pilgrimage to see what Crystal City is like. But I don't know. Like Baltimore, New Brooklyn, gentrification, it's just crazy.
I mean, it is crazy. And I was talking to someone yesterday, and we were talking about just like how much our cities have changed, because we're both 25 or whatever, and it's just crazy how much like Baltimore has changed. Just like in my lifetime. Like, I remember when downtown was shitty, it was unsafe. Remember they had their whole issue. I mean, some years ago with gang violence downtown, fucking with the white people at the main library who had their books. Now Mount Vernon, you can go there for acupuncture. You have all these weird hipstery people who are outside. If you all kinds of gay couples, and if you look at them, or if they think that you're looking at them the wrong way, then they'll do something that they assume that you'll think is outlandish to like show you that you are in their territory.
It's crazy. So I It's crazy because I kind of disagree. Maybe it's the area of downtown that I'm in, but like, because I'm around, Lexington Market area a whole lot, and this is a story. And matter of fact, I've been holding on to this story, and I've been meaning to tell you for so long. Not even for so long, but like probably for the past month. But I really want the opportunity to tell you on the podcast. Without even telling you beforehand. So, I'm down Lexington Market, right? Mm-hmm. It's a Saturday. I'm walking back from work, and instead of going to the Charles Center metro station, subway station, whatever you want to call it, I go to Lexington Market. So I go down Lexington Market, right? It's a dude in front of me, big dude, with a hoodie on. It's kind of cold out. And like, when you go to Lexington Market, everybody's trying to sell you something. It's a whole lot of activity going on. So I go down the escalator, and I'm looking at this dude ahead of me. He's kind of slow. He's kind of in my way. I'm trying to get to the train. Next thing you know, you won't believe what happened. And I have to build it up like this because this shit was just so crazy. But out of all the things that could happen when you get down the escalator to Lexington Market, the first escalator, like when you're going underground, like think of all the things that could happen. What can happen? Just give me some examples of something that could happen.
Okay, because I think I know where you may be heading with this whole issue. Okay.
You have no idea, but just go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I'm thinking that maybe someone broke out into a seizure.
Nope.
Okay. The cops were looking for the guy in the hoodie who was in your way, and then they just rushed him.
Nope.
All right. Finally, someone got robbed.
Nope.
All right.
A piece of fried chicken falls from the sky and hits the dude in the shoulder.
What?
Yo, it was like a piece of fried chicken, like it was eaten, but it had like a little bit of skin on it and some bone. It's like skin and bone, right? A fried chicken bone. Looked like it was a breast or a thigh or something. His shit just falls and hits the dude in the shoulder. Cause like how it is, like when you're coming down the escalator, but like there's a part that's like above, and it's kind of open. So I guess somebody was eating some fried chicken and they just threw it. But I'm just going down the escalator. I get off. I start walking, and a piece of fried chicken just falls down and hits this dude in the shoulder, and it just bounces off his shoulder and hits the ground. And the dude just looks, and he looks upset, like he looks angry. But it's nobody to be angry about because he's already downstairs and somebody's upstairs. And it's just like, what do you do in that situation when a fried chicken bone falls out the sky and hits you in the shoulder? All you can do is just keep it moving. And that's what he did. And at that moment, I'm just thinking, yo, what the fuck? Like, what is going on in Baltimore? Like how you just said before the show started. Like, before we started recording. Yo, what is going on in Baltimore where fried chicken is falling out the sky and hitting people?
That means that black uprising happened and we won.
Like, yo, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Damn. Well, I mean, the thing about that area in particular is that, that's where all of the black culture is anyway. So, it makes sense that, you have flying chicken bones in that area. I mean, that's where all the black culture.
Wait, hold on. So you saying flying chicken bones is black culture? Are you reverse racist right now?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I am, but culturally, niggas like to eat chicken. I mean, it's the same thing with bass. Niggas like bass.
Man, like,
nothing wrong with that.
I was telling my mother, like, this is the whole thing that I have, especially with the whole vegan thing, right? So my mother bought me some well, not necessarily bought me, but she bought some refried beans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I usually get the fat-free refried beans, but the ones that aren't fat-free, they have lard in them. So, you know, me being a vegan, I look at the ingredients of everything and I see lard. I say, I can't eat this. It has lard in it. And she's like, well, that's what, you know, that's what black people have been eating for so long. You be all right with a little bit of lard or whatever. And that's what the slaves ate and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, we, you know, our ancestors did this shit so that we don't have to. You know, like the chicken wing was not, and this is the thing that people don't understand, the chicken wing was not the desirable portion of the chicken. That was the portion that they gave the slaves because it didn't have as much meat on it. Chitlins, that was the organs. All this lard and fat and shit. So when you look at even our diet, it's based off of slavery. So it's like our ancestors did a lot of this bullshit so that we don't have to. So I feel like I'm disrespecting my ancestors if I do this shit.
I guess that's a good point.
And like, you know, people like, that's black. Like I remember one time, matter of fact, I was in Virginia. I was in what's the part? Annandale, Virginia, with somebody trying to start a record label. Some whack ass rappers, and like all these whack ass rappers and the guy who was trying to start the label, they're all morbidly obese. And before we start recording, we have to go to some supermarket so they can get some food and they can buy all this pork. I'm like, yo, man, you shouldn't be eating that pork. You know what I'm saying? It's before I'm even vegan. Like, yo, you need to chill on that. And dude told me, I'm disrespecting my mama if I don't eat pork. I grew up on a pig farm in such and such Virginia. And I'm like, you know, I always think about that moment where he says he's disrespecting his mama by not eating pork because he grew up on a pork farm. Because it's like the reason why that pork farm that you grew up on in such poverty even existed is because of, you know, slavery and everything that came after it and all the things that came with it that I'm not going to get into right now. But basically, our ancestors suffered through all that so that we wouldn't have to. So if I'm being a bougie Negro by not eating pork or not eating chicken wings or whatever, you know, I'm not being a bougie Negro because of that. I'm doing it in respect to my ancestors because they had to suffer through it and they wouldn't want me to go through the same thing.
Well, I mean, food is a very cultural thing, so I guess this is why you're getting all this kind of backlash when it comes to, you know, you disrespecting, you know, your heritage and what black people you know, have eaten. And, you know, I mean, food can symbolize a lot of things, whether it's culture or power. And, you know, let's say if like what you're saying is that, you know, the chicken wing symbolized, you know, something for slaves because that meant that they weren't getting the good part of the fucking chicken.
Right. And traditionally, when I was eating chicken, my favorite part was the chicken breast. And people, you know, when it comes to me and my mother and our family, you know, people might consider my mother to be a bit bougie. Would you say?
Yes, I would.
And me and my mother used to fight over the chicken breast. Not the wing. Who the fuck want a wing when you can get the breast?
I mean, chicken breast is hard to eat though. That's the thing. Like, it's too much to be doing.
Man, I mean, yo, man, you got the. I mean, it's that, man. The breast is just the succulent part. You can cut it. You can do a lot with it. The wing, I mean, you just crack it and then you just eat it, and then it's just that, and it's just that's it, and it's done. And like my father, you know what he used to do, which bugged me the fuck out, which I kind of tried to do, but it never really worked out for me. My father used to crack the chicken bone with his teeth and eat the marrow.
Ugh.
I don't know if there's some Bayesian shit, some Caribbean shit or whatever, but you know, when I used to like not have any more chicken wings left and I'd be looking at them bones, I'd be like, man, let me eat this marrow because of what my father did.
Ugh. That doesn't sound really appetizing, but okay.
I mean, niggas eat chicken gizzards. People eat chicken whatever. I mean, niggas eat chitlins. And like, apparently there's a thing, you know, when you have intestines, of course the asshole is going to be at the end of it. It's like, niggas eat the asshole of the pig.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, you know, like with chicken gizzards, I know that like my stepfather and my mother used to fight over like like chicken gizzards. It was like a big thing. Like once a week, he would go and get chicken gizzards, and they would have to split it up equally.
And see, I remember because I remember having chicken gizzards back then, and I remember eating them, and I remember they weren't too bad, but they weren't my favorite thing.
I've never had chicken gizzard because like this is my thing. Like I just really can't eat anything that has like a weird name. So chicken gizzards sound like something that I just shouldn't be eating. And you know, I mean, I guess you know, well, I'm really just talking about words here and like what the words really mean. But you know, as I'm sure you know, some of our black conscious folk will say, you know, words have vibrations. But
vibrations. I
mean, like that, and then like you know, since I still eat fish here and there, like my mother bought me croakers, and she just figured that I should try something new. And I told her, when I visited one time, because I just got kind of annoyed, because I just said, you know, like you've known me for 20-something years, like why the fuck do you think I want to eat something called a croaker?
I mean, the thing is, like, too, like, man, it's kind of interesting too because like the other day I was at work. Matter of fact, yesterday, because my days just blending together. But I'm at work, and you know, one of my coworkers who I'm relatively close to comes down with a plate of food. Like, you ain't go upstairs and get no food? I'm like, I didn't know there was food up there. Yeah, for such and such as you know, going away party because they get the promotion. I'm like, I don't know who that person is. And, well, didn't you get the email? I'm like, oh, I got an email about signing something, but I don't know who that person is. And I probably don't eat anything that they have there. What do they have up there? She points out, they got chicken. They got macaroni and cheese. They got cake. I'm like, I don't eat any of that. And I don't know who this person is. So I'm not going to go up there and just grab some shit. And like, she just gave me this look of disgust. And it's somebody who, you know, I'm not really close to people at work, but it's somebody who, you know, I know a bit about her life. And, you know, I don't even know if she knows a bit about mine, but she just likes to talk. But, it's like, yo, food is definitely crazy culturally, and you have to understand how to manage your way around food in order to not be disrespectful sometimes, and sometimes you just don't have a choice. But what's crazy is with black people, like, black people will look at somebody who's Jewish and be like, oh, you're kosher. But you won't look at somebody who's black and vegan as in the same type of light. Like, nigga, eat this shit, nigga. Like, hold on, I don't eat this shit. Or like, I'm not even gonna say Jewish, but even Muslim too. Like, you tell somebody that you're Muslim, even if they're Christian, they give you a certain amount of respect.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he Muslim.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like food, like man, like I remember, like when I was still working at like the market, and they had, I think I mentioned this before. They had like this employee appreciation day, some bullshit, which is really nothing more than they just bring out a whole bunch of food. They order, they have catered food or whatever like that. And I happened to work that day, unfortunately, and it was a big thing. Like, Leroy, you gotta go down there. You gotta go and get that food, man. It's gonna be gone. And I'm like, well, I'm good. Like I don't come here to eat. I have shit at home I can eat. And no, you don't understand. They got ribs there. And so I see that people who were off that day, they came into work just to get this food.
Mm.
Like, like in their regular clothes, they just came to get a plate. They ate, and then they got another plate and put some shit on the plate, and they left with the plate.
And see, the thing is, like, even when it comes to that, like, I'm an advocate of cooking your own food. So like, and I've been getting more into it now, and I'm an advocate of it for a lot of reasons. Even if you're not vegan, like, cook your own food. Like, don't just come show up and get something and this bullshit. Like, cause like recently, even when it comes to being financially stable, I've saved a lot of money during these trying financial times. Just chopping my vegetables, and I might spend an hour just chopping my vegetables and just getting them just right, getting some seasoning, and I make a pot that's gonna last me for a couple of days. But, or like, even if you're making your chicken, man, just get it. Like, man, get some unprocessed, unprepared chicken, chop that shit up, do what you gotta do with it. But like, when you start searching for other people to provide you with something that you feel like you can't provide yourself, and it's something that's necessary for life, such as food, that's a problem.
And see, and this harkens back to that one random like mob movie that I saw years ago, which got me more into cooking, more deeply when it's like some mob movie from like the 90s. It's like some type of weird, maybe offshoot of like The Godfather or something, and like and pretty much The Godfather in that movie, he always cooked and made dinner for everyone, like, or like every Sunday, or just made shit for himself. And he's really rich; he doesn't really have to do that. And so one day, like, one of the younger guys said, Godfather, like, why, like, you're such a rich man, you're a made man, like, why do you still cook your food? And he said that he does anything that he has to depend on to survive, he does himself. And he said, like, even down to like polishing it, like oiling his own bullets and his own guns.
You don't remember what the name of that movie was?
I gotta look that shit up, man.
I gotta watch that. But like I was watching a YouTube video of one of these pro-black type dudes, right? And like, he had this whole hydroponic setup in his apartment to where he could grow his own vegetables. And he developed it himself, and he was selling it, and I gotta look at the video again, but like, that's the type of shit that we need to be on. And like, me and my girl, even, we're looking at something to do so that we both can invest into something that's something that we're both equally invested in for our relationship, to grow. And we're looking at like growing some food, like, even before cooking the food, how about growing the food and then cooking it, And I think that's a dope, and that was actually her idea. It's a dope concept to actually get the seeds. Try not to get them from Monsanto or whatever. I got some cucumber seeds from the dollar store I want to mess with, but she's talking about like growing some herbs, so I'm about to get some like thyme and stuff like that. That's hard to find in the grocery market. But start growing herbs and stuff like that, and this is the things that you need for survival. It's the basics. It's like knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from the 5% teachings.
Yeah, like I remember I tried to like grow my own dill, but it just didn't work out that way. This well, I mean, I didn't spend that much time on it. I kind of figured that after a while it will grow itself, especially because when I got like the soil from my I guess my garden or whatever you call it, and it had like a worm in it, so I figured it was pretty fertile, but it wasn't, apparently.
Man, that's a whole nother issue of fertile soil. Like, I've been seeing some articles about community gardens in certain places, especially like Baltimore. Like, niggas grow gardens, but the food is toxic because it's in the soil.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's like, man, like, this earth is about to be fucked up.
And
like,
see, and this is the issue. So I mean, let's say Baltimore does become the new Brooklyn. I mean, I walk through Brooklyn and I've seen, you know, people having those little rooftop gardens or whatever they are.
Yeah.
So I mean, would it be a good thing?
I mean, I guess to start off, the best way to do it would be hydroponically. But, you know, what's interesting is my job. Matter of fact, I need to go actually look at this. They're having some type of co-op or something with some natural fresh vegetables. And, you know, I work for the Illuminati, so I don't know how much to trust it, but I'm going to go to a little event and see what they have to say about it. But, you know, at the end of the day, when you're in a situation such as us, it's like, what you gonna do? You know, all you can do is the best as you can do, which is wash your vegetables. I wash mine in half water, half vinegar. You know, and hope for the best.
Do you buy all organic?
Nah, I don't. I buy organic. Well, generally, I do frozen vegetables. Just because they stay fresh, and because, you know, buying produce, I think, is a fallacy. Like, you know, this is fresh or whatever. I mean, that shit a lot of times been sitting around for a long time. Be flies around that shit, but like recently, I've seen some decent produce in the markets that I frequent. So I've been getting the produce and chopping them up, and you know, I took a note from your book, and I've been spicing them with cumin. And like, even my mother, she smells, you know, what I make when I come into the building, and she's like, that smells good. I'm like, yeah, that's like cumin.
Yeah, I mean, that shit, it does wonders, and actually, you know, I've been using frozen vegetables more now because I just always had an issue that, you know, like the way my weeks work, I may not be in the house that much, and so I may only really eat like once or twice a day, and so I may not really have to cook that much, and so sometimes I'll just have like shit that just rots, and so at least when it comes to the majority of my vegetables, I can just, you know, have them frozen. And that'll be that. But the main thing that I do make sure that I always buy like fresh is onions, because I think onion is just way better when you just like when you freshly, you know, cut it up and put it in whatever you're using it for.
I mean, what I do, like if I get some produce, like, I mean, I think one thing is that like buying too much produce will fuck you up, because you're not gonna use all that shit. And then, like, me, I got one pot, so sometimes I'll buy more than what I can fit in the pot. And realistically, I don't cook my food all the way, but, you know, I like to have it cooked half decently so I can digest some of it and have some of the raw stuff, like, you know, and like some of it I have raw and some of it I have not. So like what I'll do is like recently I've gotten some onions, and I got some green onions, and I've been chopping those up with some celery, all different colors of peppers. And then with the beans, I do have some beans here that I need to like soak and actually do, but I'll get some canned beans for real, and I rinse them off really good. I put that in there, and like this pot that I have right now that I'm actually eating from right at this moment, it's just all peppers, all different color peppers, red onions, green onions, and beans from a can that I rinsed off to get all the salt and everything off. I put some cumin, some black pepper, some cayenne, some paprika. What else did I put in there? Some garlic and some parsley and some oregano leaves, and I put all that in the pot, and I, cooked it. Oh yeah, and I chopped up some baby carrots and put in there. I put some radishes. I chopped up some radish and put it in there. Some actual produce of broccoli. I took the tops off of it and put it in there. I'm just like looking through my pot right now to remember what I actually put in there. Celery. So I did all that. I put it in a pot. I boiled it. I cooked up. I boiled it a little bit. Not till like it's soggy or anything like that. Then, I got some artesian lettuce from Aldi, which is basically 4 different types of lettuce. So I, took all 4 different types, rinsed it off real good, soaked it in the vinegar or whatever to get it all, or half vinegar, half water. I didn't cook that, so I put the cooked over the lettuce and everything like that with the cumin and everything. Like that shit is delicious. Like it's just crazy. And it's funny because people tell me that shit looks so nasty, whatever. I'm like, yo, just smell it. And they smell it and it's delicious. So now it's time for you to eat it. Because like niggas ain't got time for ordering food every fucking day. Like, nigga, get you a pot. Like, make 1 or 2 pots a week. My next meal is going to be, I got this cabbage. So I'm about to break this cabbage down. I'm about to halfway bake a potato and then boil it and put it in there with some shit. And then mix whatever leftover vegetables I have from whatever else I just made and put it in there. And boom, that's going to be a meal for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, and another thing too is that because I get people always on the go and you just gotta get something real quick. But like, I feel like when I eat what I cook, I just feel more fulfilled, I guess. Because that you put like the time, the effort, and the thought into like how you want to chop this onion up, or like the way you just want certain things. If you don't want it cooked all the way through, and that you did it. And it's like, and that's the thing. Like especially nowadays, since I'm getting older now, because a lot of people always tell me this, that you'll always be thankful if like someone cooks for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I'm still kind of leery about, being over other people's houses if I don't really know them and, like, if they cook. But, now I'm becoming more appreciative of that. Like, I went to, like, a friend's cookout last weekend, and his wife, like, made sure, like, that they had, like, certain things for me. And she made sweet potato fries, like, from scratch. Chop those motherfuckers. And that's hard to do. And made them, and it's like that's really thoughtful. Like you're putting in this much time and effort, and it was just me over there actually. This much time and effort just to have me over.
Yeah, like I experienced that a lot actually. Because I'm trying to think. Like with you, you cook more than me a lot of times, or at least sometimes, or like maybe I don't know if you cook more than me, but you make different things that I would make. And, especially when you're in Baltimore, sometimes that's kind of, even though it's a lot of stuff going on, that's kind of like your chill time. So you like make some stuff that I probably wouldn't make, and that shit is so good. So it's like, I appreciate when you're here because you make some good shit for me to eat. And, you're not stingy with it. And,
I mean, you're the only other nigga that would really eat it outside of my brother anyway, so.
Yeah. And, other than that, my girl, she'll make something, but, she has other obligations, but, I'm really appreciative when she makes something or tailors it to me. And her mother, during certain holidays and stuff, she might make something just for me. that's, specially made, just that's Zach's bowl right there or whatever. So like when people take that time, you definitely appreciate that. And, someone will take the time to do that for you. So like, it's a lot of culture and a lot of interrelational type things with cooking. But at the same time, like, I don't know if you feel like that. I feel a certain type of way when sometimes I make something. Like, it might be the same person who made something specially for me. But when I make something especially for me and I present it to somebody else and they don't even want to taste the shit. You ever get that?
I think I had once, but I didn't really take much offense to it for whatever reason, because I just felt like it was more for me.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like I be feeling like, look, I guess it's more like, yo, you out here about to buy some food. Like I got a whole bowl of food right here that you could try, and it's good. And you don't even want to give it a chance because it has this label on it, it's vegan, or it's no salt in it, it's no sugar in it, and it's like you haven't even tried it, you haven't even smelled it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was kind of in a situation like a friend had me over for dinner, like, a month or two ago, and he made like two different kinds of things, but one thing had like shrimp in it. And the thing was, like, if the shrimp was separated, then I could just like say no. But I was in a situation where like he just knew that somehow, some way, he just knew that I ate shrimp, and so I just smelled it, and it smelled pretty good, and I just said fuck it, yeah. I just told him, yeah, I ate shrimp because I didn't want to be an asshole, and I just sat down and ate it. It was actually pretty good, but I didn't really want to eat the shrimp. But then I didn't want to be an asshole and like, oh no, I can't eat that. And he just like, he said this certain time. He probably spent a lot of time doing this shit because he was telling me how he made it and all this and that. So
yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, especially when people, some people get real personal about their cakes and their pastries and stuff like that. And it might have all kind of milk and butter and stuff. And sometimes you have to be a human, I guess, and, do things that regular humans do and eat some cake. But, my thing is, and it's crazy because, me being vegan and, especially my mother, she knows this. I've never liked cake. And whenever I've had a birthday, my cake is more for other people than it is for myself. So now, me being vegan, it's even more reason for me to like cake. And when people push cake on me, not only do I not like cake, but I'm vegan as well. So it's like, I don't want to eat this shit. Because I'm not a cake fan. And I'm vegan. And you put eggs and butter in this shit. And people like, oh, you on that vegan shit? No, I just don't like it. I've never liked it. It's for other people. And so one time, matter of fact, I said this shit to one of our cousins. I said, my birthday is more for other people than it is for me. And apparently that was taken as some type of bougie type of way. But yeah, it is, because I don't do this birthday shit. This shit costs money and it has you eating some bullshit. And like, niggas need to be getting this money and not spending it. And not eating this bullshit and dying off of diabetes and shit.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, it is just so weird, like how much food plays like a role in like in our everyday lives in so many ways.
And I guess it goes into the Anthony Bourdain shit, which I've been meaning to watch this show, based off of our experience with this show so far, which is a part of our everyday life. But I've been meaning to watch that and the Action Bronson show on Vice. But food is a cultural thing. But let's take a quick break real quick and let's be right back. Channel 10 Podcast. Peace. All right, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hey, Channel 10 podcast listeners, please don't forget to rate, subscribe, like, favorite, comment on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music Podcasts, whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. Just show us a little love. We definitely appreciate it. Also, keep up with us at channel10podcast.com. Reach out on social media. Email us at channel10podcast@gmail.com. Got a lot coming, so check us out. Peace. All right, we're back. Channel 10 podcast in the building. The Almighty ER and Sun God Superior in the building. We just kicking it. Haven't dropped an episode in a while. We're talking about this food situation. But I guess let's get into some music. This whole Prince situation is very interesting. Because I know that you were a bit of a Prince fan, and me just listening to and it's gonna sound crazy, but if you listen to Future's Purple Rain, right?
that caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
okay.
So Future did the Purple Rain mixtape, and he has a song called Perkys Calling. And I believe in the parentheses it's called Purple Rain. And he's talking about he can hear the Perkys calling. And then they saying that Prince died from them Perkys shortly after this mixtape drops. And it's just crazy. I guess it's a weird synchronicity of the universe or whatever. But I don't know. Like, and it's crazy because me and my girl had a conversation about this. Like, yo, how did Future come out with that song and then Prince just dies? And the shit is called Purple Rain.
I mean, yeah, because if you think about it, that mixtape is really only like 3 months old. Technically, like January, came out in January, after New Year's.
Yeah, and so I can hear the Perkys calling. I can hear the Perkys calling. Like, it shit called Perkys Calling.
And that's really interesting too, because like when I found out it came out Purple Rain, that's the only thing I like when I listened to the entire mixtape for the first time all the way through. I couldn't help but thinking about Prince. And
yeah, had the Prince font it made you think of Prince.
Oh, it did have the Prince font. I never thought about that. Huh. That's interesting.
So it's like this whole thing, and like I've always like that song in particular, Perky's Calling, like that song sounds like a cry for help. And like to me, a lot of Future songs sounds like cries for help. But that song in particular sounds like a cry for like that song kind of hit me like, yo, like an average listener would listen to it and be like, this is just some ignorant ass shit. Fuck this shit. But like when you listen to it, it sounds like somebody like, yo, I have an issue. Please come help me. And then Prince dies.
Oh, all right. So before we get deeper into Prince, so remember when that whole thing about that interview? Did you ever listen to that interview in full? The interview that you told me about when he says that he doesn't do drugs like that.
Yeah.
Do you think he's lying
about not doing drugs like that?
I mean, yeah.
No, I don't think he's lying.
Well, because
you can't, like, number one, look at DMX, right? And like I understand, different drugs had different effects and things like that, but DMX had a 3-album run off of doing drugs. And then the rest people have mixed feelings about, right? And even really people have mixed feelings about all his albums except the first one. Or maybe the first two, you could say.
I have a feeling about all of his albums except for the first one.
But like the second one wasn't his fault necessarily as it was, the production.
Okay.
But like, you look at Future and you look at DMX. DMX was really on that shit. And you look at how he fell off. when you listen to how people talk about Future's work ethic, you can't have that work ethic taking a downer.
Okay, what about Wayne? And like, and this is my point, because like, I never like really thought about like listening to Perkys calling, because and like seeing it as a cry for help, because I don't know. I mean, I kind of always like skip that song because it's like it's so depressing. But then I'm thinking about that, and I always listen to Codeine Crazy, and it's kind of like it's like a recurring thing that he always ends off with like this really depressing song, and you don't know if it's really about him or just about some other things. And Codeine Crazy is a really kind of weird, eerie song, and Perky's Calling is kind of like within that same vein.
I mean, I think that maybe Future was on it like that at one time, but maybe he chilled out. And he's channeling those feelings into his songs. Because when you listen to his songs, and like I feel like he maybe said this in an interview, but I'm not mistaken. But I can't like cite my source. But I feel like he said something like, yo, you know, these are kind of anti-drug songs, because he had a song where he said, all my homies are junkies.
Yeah, on